Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming and hanging out so that I could do an impromptu show and tell. It's been a real long time since I've had just like a good old fashioned haul on the channel because I just don't shop like this hardly at all anymore. But hi, everybody. By the way, I am gutted. I missed Kelly at the Truth and Stories live stream. I think she was live just like a couple hours ago. She starts when I'm at work. And I totally missed it, but she just did a lengthy walkthrough of Into the Lonely Woods that I will have to watch later and see if it gets me off the fence to buy it. Thanks, you guys. I do this kind of a haircut every, I don't know, once a year or so, and then I let it grow until it annoys me, and then I cut it again. That's basically the rotation that I'm currently on. I can't seem to ever settle on, I kind of do like this length, but I could see it getting a little longer. It's something. Anyways, I feel all fresh and updated. Thanks, guys. You know what I like about this? I get to I am not a hair person at all. Like, I love doing my makeup, but I am not a hair person. Um, and this is great because I just literally dunk my head in some water. Like, ideally, I have a shower. Dunk my head in some water and just like take a towel and go, and then we're good, which is what I like. Thanks, guys. Yeah, a life full of simplicity. I'm the same way with my hair. Yep. I love it when it's just low maintenance. I can always tell when it's time to cut it though, because all I want to do is put it in a ponytail all the time. That's how I can tell it's time. It's like, oh, all I'm doing is putting it in a ponytail. My hair is annoying me. Time to cut it. We all do that, says Monster High Bigs. Awesome. I thought we could play a guessing game today when we get started on what I might have bought. But I have stuff that kind of runs the gambit here. It's mostly books and decks though. Yeah, I have a little bit of natural curl in my hair. Thanks, Roaming Witch. I made you use makeup more often. Oh, that's amazing. I will happily take credit for that. To me, makeup is like playtime. It's like coloring on my face. I like to color. I just color on my face. It's fine. Angela says me too on the ponytail. Exactly. Hi, Hecate's Crossing. Hello, everybody. I like doing impromptu live sometimes. This is not that impromptu, but it's kind of like I didn't pre-schedule it. But I did go to my favorite, I shouldn't say my favorite metaphysical store is Reflections Books, which is just down the street from where I live. They're amazing there, and they have a great selection of like indie and mass market decks and all that good stuff. But every once in a while, I build up a big pile of mass market things that I need to rehome, and I end up taking it all to the bigger metaphysical store, which is like 40 minutes from where I live, and drop it off there when I get them during their window where they accept used books or decks. I'm sorry, it's 2:30 a.m. Roaming Witch. Holy moly. Anyways, so once I have a big enough pile and their window happens to be open and the stars align just right, I'm able to drop off a bunch of stuff and then I get a store credit. So I had a rather hefty store credit to spend. So I actually spent like around 50, I think, of my own dollars because I lost track of the money in my shopping basket. Does that ever happen to you? I feel like I paused and like added everything up at one point. That's like an old school shopping trick I used to always do. And then by the time I actually got to checkout, somehow my math was off still, but I'm like, whatever, it's fine. Oh, Barb, your local store doesn't take used stuff. A lot of local stores will. Sometimes used bookstores will also. So they may not even be metaphysical stores, but I know a lot of used bookstores have metaphysical sections, and they will take some of your used stuff as well. I want to do a haul, but I'm waiting right now. I just spent $140 on my book, says Monster High Bigs. Oh my gosh. Does store credit count as no buy? Well, considering my no buy was an absolute and utter and complete and total fail where books and decks are concerned, I don't know. I'm not going to weigh in on this because I suck at no buys. I'm doing very good with my makeup no buy, and I'm doing very good with my art supplies. Kind of. You know what? No buys are just, it's a thing. I just... Peggy, we had a whole conversation. We ended up in one of our Self-Worth Saturday discussions in the Unicorn Fam. We did a whole topic on like setting realistic goals and like how to be kind to yourself around goal setting and that kind of thing. And did some self-calling out during that chat. That was funny. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all the compliments. You guys are really kind. Tiny Trinkets and Tarot Ange says, I live in Farmville, so you can't even buy decks, books, or crystals here. I have to drive to an actual city for metaphysical shops. Oh, bummer. That's true. There's probably a lot of people that are actually in places where they can't. So I'm sorry. I'm very blessed to be in the like a major metropolitan area. We're in the outskirts in a suburb of Vancouver. So that's where we live. And there's really only, there's more than two. There's two metaphysical stores that I enjoy shopping at. There's been a couple that I probably would also enjoy if they were more convenient, but quite blessed to have what we have near us. Let's see. The whole month has been a deck haul for me, says Kaylin. Help me with my breakup. Now I'm excited. Oh, good. That's good. Little shopping therapy is no, didn't hurt anybody. It's fine. As long as you can pay your bills at the end of the day, you're good. This is, oh wait, did I blip? Where's my internet? Hello? I'm trying to put up, why won't you show? There we go. This is so spot on. I actually left. I'm diving back into crochet, so I've gotten a few crochet hobbies. But is that like an art supply? No, that's like a crafting supply. That's a different category. Something else entirely. Hands up who failed their no buys. All of us. Hello? Is anybody like really rocking their no buy? I want to hear from you. I want all your tips and tricks. All seriousness though. I feel like whenever I try to go too restrictive, and Dustin calls me out on this all the time. Dustin at Modern Metaphysic, he's like, too much restriction does not work. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm going to try blah. And he's like, okay, good luck to you. And then inevitably I'm like, it didn't work. And he's like, and bless his heart, he never says, I told you so, but he really could. I didn't even try no buy. Oh, Fracky Fire says, what stores are the ones you like to use? I live on Vancouver Island, but I visit the mainland a lot and might check them out next time I'm there. So in the West End, so on West 4th is Banyen Books and Sound. That is where I got all the goodies I'm going to show you today. Their deck selection, in my opinion, it feels slightly out of touch, not going to lie. It feels like they're not watching necessarily the trends as closely as maybe some other stores might do better at. I'll name one of those in a moment, but if you're looking for a huge selection of books, their book selection is unmatched. It's incredible. They're more a bookstore, but they do have a wall of decks, which is super fun to shop. But a lot of mass market. Occasionally, you can luck out and find some indie stuff there. They usually have a couple, but mostly they're going to be mass market, and they tend to carry a lot of the same things over and over again. I've noticed. Not a lot. Now that I'm thinking about it, not a lot of Llewellyn that I recall seeing there. US Games, Hay House, Blue Angel, Los Scarabeo. So they're like more that style selection. Like if you shop a lot of metaphysical stores, you'll get the feeling for ones who are like more in touch. You know what I mean? The other metaphysical store that I love in this area that is right down the street, and I've actually read at their shop before, very occasionally, and that is Reflections Books. And they are in Coquitlam, which is the city that I live in. And they're like a 5-minute drive away. It's super dangerous. And Melissa, the owner there, does an incredible job staying, I feel like, in touch with what's going on in the divination world. And she seems to do a really good job of bringing in a selection of indie decks along with mass market. And her selections always feel really current. So I really enjoy checking and seeing what she has, because she often has stuff that like I'm really truly tempted by, whereas it's a little tougher for me to shop at Banyen sometimes, at least for decks. So I feel like I'm missing so many comments. There's so many of you here. Oh my God, hello. What time is it where you are? Probably really late for a lot of you. I'm sorry. We'll try to get to the good stuff real soon. Yeah. I don't know of anywhere local to me that sells indie decks. Yeah, Reflections is really unique in that way. And it was really when the ownership changed, in my opinion. I only really got to know the shop once the ownership had changed. But when Melissa took it over, and she and I used to talk a lot. I used to go over there and buy a bunch of decks and then geek out on decks. And then when I read there, I would tell them about decks. And Melissa stocks a few of Peggy's bags in her shop, which is super cool. And she's really sweet. But she really likes to support independent creators of all types, right? She really supported me when my book came out. She really supported, like I said, she supported Peggy's Etsy stuff with her bags, and you can tell she really cares about independent creators and giving them a space to be seen. So she does a great job. If you get a chance to go to Reflections, highly recommend. It's a smaller, more intimate shop, but it's really fun to poke around in there. And she does a really good job with crystals and stuff too. Yeah. So in fact, I can give you a link to both sites we're talking about today in case anybody is curious. Let me just grab those because I don't think I put them in the description box. So Banyen Books. And I'm going to actually, in a minute here, pop links up for everything we're going to be talking about. But if you don't want to spoil yourself, don't look at the description box or hit refresh. But you can hit refresh if you need a link. because I'm going to grab those. But that's the link to Banyen books. And then I'm going to grab the link to the reflections. Excuse me as well. Pardon any throat clearing. I do have a cup of coffee, so we'll see how that goes. Reflections books is here. Okay, and then I'm going to go grab some links. Give me 2 seconds here, and then we'll get started. But again, don't hit refresh or you'll see spoilers for everything. Unless you want to be spoiled, I guess, and then it's fine. Oh, it would help if I didn't have typos in my links. There we go. And I don't know if these are going to be in the same order I'm showing stuff, so, you know, keep that in mind too. If you're like, I got to go to bed, but I want to know what else you got, you could totally spoil yourself. That's fine. Can I change? No, not from here. I have to go. Bear with me. Thanks, Lily of the Valley. You guys are so sweet. Okay. I'm going to toss this in. Let's see if I can do this quickly. Hello, Santiago. 5 to 6 decks at a time, Rutabagal. Oh my goodness. The good news is there are several shops where you can buy decks online, indie decks. Well, it depends on where you live, I suppose. Oh, I did have a link to Banyen in the description box. Look at me. Thanks. Okay, so technically, again, only if you want to be spoiled. I have updated right now. Okay, so you can always check back later, or you can refresh if you want to be spoiled. Okay. You know what it is? I like surprises. So I'm like, I want to surprise you guys, but then also like I want you to have links if you want links. All right, so we're gonna just jump in. If anybody wants to start guessing stuff, you're welcome to. I don't know what order. We're gonna do books first and we'll do decks. Actually, let's do 2 randoms first. So the first thing, which I've been so excited to get this out of its packaging, but I have waited because I wanted to show you guys. I was so excited about this. Look at this gorgeous Labradorite piece. Look at this necklace. This called to me from across the dang shop. It is actually set in macrame. There is not one piece of metal anywhere. I'm so excited to get this out of its package. You just don't know. There's not one piece of metal anywhere on this jewelry. Nowhere. And I was so excited because I can never buy jewelry in metaphysical stores because they're always metal and I can't always trust, and they're always really expensive, but I can't always trust. I'm so excited to wear this. And what's beautiful is that because it's macrame set, there is no back on it. So I get to feel the stone's energy as well, which is incredibly exciting. This is one of my favorite crystals ever, Labradorite. And this piece has the blue, the green, the yellow, and the orange flash in it. It actually, yeah, there you can see the orange there. You see? It has all the colors. It is incredible. I'm really excited. And it has an adjustable macrame cord. Look! Oh my God. And it's adjustable to, how long does it go? Let's see. It goes pretty long. This is the only piece of jewelry I bought, but so it goes to like that length. So I can layer, which is super cool. Look at it. It's so pretty. I've been really excited to try that on. So this is by a company called Loving Knots by Susan Vijaya. Hello. So I've linked her website down below, but she's in the process of a branding change. So she was called Loving Knots. Now her Etsy shop, Loving Knots, is just supplies. So if you're looking for the actual cabicons or like the waxed thread that she uses or whatever. But I'm super excited about this. I have not bought, outside of like the Witch's Bounty, I've not bought a witchy necklace in a really long time. So I'm so excited about this. And I've been wanting a Labradorite pendant or necklace for a very, very long time. Anyways, I'm very excited about this. This is actually Labradorite here, and this is apatite. So that's cool. She called it Mystic Duet. So exciting. So I got that. Hello, everybody just joining. Okay, now the other random thing. So I was actually, when I went there, I was considering picking up a quartz crystal singing bowl because I've always wanted one, but they are hideously expensive. And I just realized I have 2 singing bowls I love, both of which I've picked up. I think I bought both of these at Banyen, actually. This one I bought years ago. And I've got 2 of my little thingies here. So I've got this. Have you ever heard of singing bowl? Anyways, okay, before I get into, I'll play the ones that I have in a moment. But first, I treated myself, instead of buying the big fancy crystal singing bowl, which they were big too. That's the other thing. And I love both of these. So instead of doing that, I treated myself to a singing bowl pillow. This seems so frivolous. Like I probably could have had Peggy make me something, but it's ready made. And one of the things that's nice about this is that if I ever want to use my singing bowls, usually I have to, the way I've always used them before is I have to hold them on my hand and pull my fingers back like this so that you don't touch the sides or it won't sing properly. I've never actually had a little place to set it. Now that I have a place to set it, so this is my smaller one. If you're on headphones and that's too loud, I apologize. But it's a nice sound. This was my first one. I've had this one the longest. I love singing bowls. So that's my small one. You probably could wear this in the shower. I will probably slip it off over my head in the shower just to be on the safe side. This is the bigger bowl. It's nothing pretty. It's not fancy, but the tone of this one is amazing. Let's see. Hold on. This one has a much deeper tone. It's more mellow. I always hit it a little bit before I start singing it, but just a little. So this is the deep one. And they just feel so different, but these are very soothing to me. So having the little pillow for them, I realized will make me enjoy the ones I have more instead of just replacing it with another one. But I have two of these singers. What do you call these things? I have one that's got a suede wrap on it. But I also really like the one that, I wonder if it sounds different. Actually, I might. Hold on. This one's a little harder to get that tinny sound out. Yeah, this one's higher. I don't like the tone as much with this one as I do with this one. Anyway, so that's what I got. Yeah, I need to stop buying decks so I can buy bowls instead. I call them bonkers, says Barb. So yeah, this is my little set now. Because I have this, I can now just set the pillow down, put the bowl on it, and then play with it. Whereas before I had to hold it. So I feel like it made what I do have much more usable, which sounds silly, but like, yeah. Now to go down that rabbit hole of singing bowls. My favorites, honestly, are these, I guess are these brass, copper? No, these are brass, right? These are brass? I think these are brass. This one's really hammered all the way around, and it's got like all this like discoloration. I don't even care because it's so beautiful. Nowadays, it's really easy to find ones that are like painted and that are decorative. But this one has a really clear, pure tone with like this even, and this one's kind of hammered. So it's got these like little divots in it, and it just changes the sound. I love the sound of a big one. Yeah, that's why I have it, because I like the higher sound, but this is like feels very clearing. This feels really grounding and like root chakra, and I just love it. So the singing bowls, again, I've got those before. I didn't get those today, but I did get the little pillow today. Again, it seemed like such a frivolous thing to pick up because it's something I've put off for a long time because it felt silly to buy a pillow because I knew I could make one or Peggy could make one for me. But I was like, I'm here. I have a store credit. I'm going to get a pillow. So I got a pillow. That's what I did. Yeah, a lot of it is like going to stores and checking them out. I'm actually really sad because when I went to Banyen, they used to have a huge selection of those really hand-hammered, rough-looking ones, and now they seem to have all of the fancy ones. Everything I got today, by the way, everything that I'm showing today, with one exception, was gotten. I can grammar, was purchased from Banyen Books and Sound in Vancouver, and they do have a website. You can order from them online. But yeah, nowadays when I went to look at their singing bowl selection, they're all the really ornate looking ones. They're not these like old, like to me, these are the traditional ones I got used to for years. So let's talk books. So the first book that I picked up while I was at Banyen was Psychic Witch by Matt Oren. This one ended up on my list because I'm going to be meeting Matt Oren, ideally. I'm going to be meeting him at Northwest Tarot Symposium in October. So he's one of the keynote speakers. I've been really curious about his books for a long time. This one just seemed like one that was right up my alley. I took a little flip through. It's got lots and lots of little exercises. There's a bunch here that I know already that I've done before in my witchy practice, but there's some, they seem very practical. like there's a lot of really practical exercises here, and a lot of it is focused on sort of connecting more to your psychic energies, which I really appreciate. So I'm kind of stoked, actually. It doesn't feel like a classic Witchy 101 book. It feels like it's got something a little different to offer. We'll see. I have not read it yet. Like I said, I only just kind of flipped through it. If you have read it or you've done any of the exercises, I would love, love, love to hear your feedback, because it's been a long time since I've considered dipping into a book like this. The last kind of witchy instructional style book that I read, kind of, I wouldn't even class it like that, is Kellyanne Maddox's Rebel Witch, and I really enjoyed that for the differentness of it. And I'm kind of hoping this is going to be the same. Shayla's building a nest underneath my table right now. But yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I figured, hey, if I enjoy it, I can have him sign it at Newt's. So I figured that would be cool. The exercises are so good. Yes. Okay, good. I just got this book, says Trisha. Really helpful, even just the little start I've made. It has one of my favorite meditation exercises. Oh, good. Rutabagle says it's a really great book, but I'm only halfway through. Okay, good. There's some good feedback coming. That's awesome. I keep wanting to call you Elisa. I've probably called you Elisa this entire time. Is it Ailsa? How do I say that properly? I'll never remember. I'm going to ask. I always do this. I ask and then I never remember. I'm sorry. It's really obnoxious. But anyways, I bought Rebel Witch because of you. That's awesome. Yeah, I know on mobile it's hard to tag people. You can't really tag them. Okay. The other fun thing about Banyen is they do have a really large used section, and they also always have bargain books. So I was browsing their many aisles. There are many aisles. There are probably 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably like 8 to 10 on each side. So there's a center aisle and then 8 to 10 on each side, like mini aisles, I guess you could say, with books on both sides kind of thing, plus a bunch of other sections of books. And then lining the bottom of the shelves. So there's like the regular shelves that you look at like at eye level, right? And then there's like down on the bottom, there's like a little shelfy thing, and they put bargain books. And so I picked up Romancing the Shadow. So this is one of the authors of this, Connie Zweig, is the same author of Meeting the Shadow. Excuse me, I just totally burped there. She's the same she's the author of Meeting the Shadow, which I also looked at, but Meeting the Shadow feels like it's, how do I say this right? This felt more practical. This felt like it had more practical applications, talks through very specific areas of shadow, like defending ourselves with shields, power, money, sex, addiction. Talks about specific types of shadow work, cradle of the best and the worst, the family shadow, looking for the beloved, dating as shadow work, shadow dancing till death do us part, a parent's betrayal as initiation into shadow. I mean, there's so much stuff in here that I'm like, okay, there's some good stuff, me and my shadow. So I thought this would be a really cool one for dipping more into shadow work when I'm feeling that call. So very excited about that. Who just got the last Unicorn Tarot? Wicked Weird Wednesday. It's so good. I hope you love it. If you love the last Unicorn, I think you'll be really happy with it. You saw this one on Markdown too? Yeah, I don't know why. It looks really decent, and I feel like I've heard good things about it. It's older. Like, when was this published? This was published in 1997. So maybe it's that it's dated. Could be. But I don't have any like regular books on shadow work. I have a lot of like shadow work themed things I've done, read, studied, etc., but never had like an actual book. So really excited to get into that. I'm sorry, Trisha, you did not know there's a last Unicorn Tarot. You guys, we have to have a brief segue. I'm sorry. Anybody who wants to play the drinking game of Is Lisa Distracted Again? We really need a squirrel emoji in the Unicorn fam so we can have one of those custom emojis. We need a specifically adorable Unicorn fam style squirrel for just these moments. I did get mine in the Kickstarter, so it came with the box. I think you have to order this separate now. I think it just comes in a regular box, and then it has this beautiful like leather bound. I also have a Kickstarter exclusive card in here. Where did it go? This is signed by Peter S. Beagle. Yeah, this is, oh my God. It's stunning. Any excuse to talk about this, you guys. I love this movie so much. It's perfect. They did a really great job with matching the scenes and the characters to the tarot. It's just really, 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 really good, in my opinion. It's beautiful. Yeah, the guidebook is incredible. It's like parchment-looking paper, faux leather, gold, bookmark. Like, it's just, they did not skimp at all. with the production of this. It did take like 2 years longer than it was supposed to, like a year and a half. I wasn't bitter, not at all. It took a lot longer than it was supposed to, but they had a lot of hiccups, like artists pulling out and things like that they had to deal with. So all things considered, could have been worse. There's like dust or something built. Oh, it's because my shelf is dusty. Oh well. Love it. Love it. I'm screaming right now. Yeah, you need to get it. You can get it on Geekify. Geekify did it. It's officially licensed. They did make sure that even though it was licensed with the company where Peter S. Beagle doesn't get anything or very little of anything, as I remember it, I don't know, but that's what I heard. They also made sure that Peter S. Beagle got money from it, which was amazing. Anyway. Yeah. My favorite movie of all time. Yeah, it's same. It's amazing. Okay. Back on topic. I'll get there. I'll stay on topic. I will. Kind of. Maybe a little bit. Okay. The next thing, I'm really excited about this actually. I say actually like I'm surprised. I'm excited about everything on the table with a couple of exceptions that I feel like I already regret, but we'll get there. But this is Ancestral Tarot. So this is by Nancy Hendrickson, forward by Teresa Reed. Uncover your past and chart your future. Now, I've seen this kicking around in discussions on YouTube and on social media for a while now. I really wasn't sure how I was going to feel, and it's one of the books that I would have not bought online. I really wanted to see it in person, be able to flip through, and I really liked the look of some of the exercises. We'll see if it ultimately... Okay, I just stumbled onto a section that has me feeling really... I feel like it's promising. It says, is healing always possible? So this is really interesting. It's just middle of the book. In truth, family systems are a lot like weather patterns. One day a tornado hits, the next day a gentle rain announces spring, and the next a flood of epic proportions washes away your home. Family dynamics are ever evolving. A father who loved you intensely through childhood may have become a tyrant, or worse, as you aged. A mother you adored may have passed over while you still desperately needed her. I know people who've never known if balmy weather or a tornado would be waiting behind the door when they got home from school. And it talks about if healing can't happen, and there's a tarot spread here, and that is very validating to see in a book like this, because my one big, this spread is actually created by Joanna Powell Colbert, who gave her permission for it to be used in this book. I really liked the fact that some of the ancestral pain was going to be acknowledged, because this is always something that I find really challenging about even discussing ancestor work, because there's so many difficulties in that area. So I'm really excited to get into that. We'll see. And some of these may end up on the Unicorn Fan Book Club list, because I'm trying to keep my reading kind of slow and kind of, going through there. Okay. The books just keep getting better from here. So let me just make a pile next to me and have another sip of my coffee. If anybody's same with the previous book, if you guys have worked with the Ancestral Tarot book, I'd love to hear, particularly if you have family trauma. I'd love to hear if you felt it was useful, if you got enough out of it. My approach to ancestor work feels very unique. Hi, Cecilia. Thanks for popping by. Yeah, Rutabagle says, adding to my list, I've been on an ancestor journey after doing some healing over my adoption, trying to connect to where I come from. And I think the thing is, too, is that with ancestor work, one of the things, I'll just nutshell it a little bit. For me, ancestor work is about spiritual ancestry, going way far back. I'm not trying to connect to no recent, I can't speak. I'm not trying to connect to very recent ancestors usually. Hi, Rick. I did. Thank you. Okay. The next book is a frivolous purchase that it's a Kelly Fitzgerald made me do it, right? Like it's a Kelly at the Truth and Story made me do this for sure. There's no way this was not her fault, except for me doing the actual purchasing. And it's funny because I went to Banyen Books with a friend, and this is a book that I actually took off my list because I thought it was not going to be available in Canada or something. Like it was on my list, but whenever I went to go look at it, it was like not available, not in stock, couldn't buy it from Amazon.com either. So I just assumed it wasn't going to be something I could purchase. And then my friend comes wandering over in the bookstore. And she's like, oh, this looks like something you'd like. And I was like, yes, put in cart. This is something I've been looking for. It is The Lost Spells. This is by Robert McFarlane and Jackie Morris. It is such a beautiful book. I think Kelly has both this book and the previous one, which is called The Lost Words. I remembered her showing this on her channel. Look at the end papers. Can we just appreciate? And can we appreciate this gorgeous? Hold on. Let's see if I can do it in the light here. Yeah, look at this gorgeous cover. Isn't that this just so pretty? My friend pointed that out to me too. But this book is, let's see if I can keep it focused on the book and not my face. It's gorgeous writing paired with beautiful illustrations. And Kelly talked about using it kind of in a bibliomantic kind of way. I just thought this was such a treasure of a little book. Like, look at these illustrations. And there's these little poems, but they're related to different kinds of animals. So if you do animal magic, if you like using animal decks, this page is, that's interesting. That page is totally blank. But it's just beautiful. Look at all this. I keep going over there's actually way more words than I'm making it look like because I keep just happening to page to the illustrations. But you see this? So really, really beautiful. Has a built-in bookmark. I just thought that'd be really fun to work with, and I'm really, really excited about it. So got that. And there should be links if you guys want to if you're not worried about spoilers, you can hit refresh, and I should have links to all the decks and books for sure in here. Really excited about it. Is your feedback about Ancestral Tarot? Those end papers make my heart sing, says Wellness Witch. Yes, totally. Yeah, I would say proceed with caution, Emmy. Or Emerald, sorry. I would say proceed with caution with ancestral work. My advice is always to, especially if it's like somebody who's recently been an issue in your life, to really think through if you're in that space. Like, I'm not in that space to connect with that part of my ancestry, but I do enjoy going back further. And I've kind of reached the point where I no longer want to completely avoid ancestor work because of my issue with specific ancestors. So there's that. Santiago, I'm not worried about spoilers, but I'm too lazy to refresh. I mean, that's fair. It might be helpful to some people who want to look things up and add them to cart immediately. So one of my goals with this shopping trip, very specifically, and I did accomplish it with the next two books, is I very specifically am at the point, and this ties into the ancestor work, is I really want to dig into my heritage. Specifically, I am about 50% roughly. I'm about roughly 50% Scottish. And I really want to dive into Scottish mythology, Scottish pantheons, that sort of thing. And I feel like it's a little nebulous. Maybe anybody who has any experience dipping into Celtic mythologies and Celtic deity pantheons can help. But from what I can tell, it feels like the Celtic pantheons are very like mushed together. And I have not had any luck so far doing online lookups anyways, trying to figure out which deities originated specifically in Scotland. I can't quite figure that out. I'm hoping the mythologies will shed some light on that, but deities aside, it's really interesting how a lot of the Celtic stuff seems very mushed together. And I do have quite a bit of experience looking into specifically the Welsh pantheon and Welsh mythology. And Welsh, I think part of the reason is that we have more surviving written text from Welsh mythology. We have the Mabinogion. We have other Welsh origin things that have survived more. So I think we can clearly go, that's Welsh. But I haven't found things and I found things that are like, this is Irish. But for some reason, I feel like I'm struggling to find stuff about Scotland specifically, or Scottish mythology. And so that was one of my goals, was to get some stuff that could help me connect with Scottish mythology. So the first book that I found, and this was on my list going into Banyen, I was pretty sure they were going to have it, is called Celtic Tales, Fairy Tales and Stories of Enchantment from Ireland, Scotland, Brittany, and Wales. And the nice thing about this book is beautiful. Of course, hardbound, has a built-in bookmark. This has also got some gorgeous end papers. And it seems to be organized. This says Tricksters. So there are sections here. There are some really gorgeous illustrations in this as well. So this first tale is The Clumsy Beauty and Her Aunts. And this one, what I like about this book is it specifically says, where the story originated. So this is Ireland. And that excited me because there are, of course, stories in here like The Witch of Fife. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And this one is a Scotland origin story, or Scotland originating myth. And that was really exciting to me because I want to dip specifically into the Scottish stuff. Can't pronounce anything on this page, but that is this story. Asapato. I'm going to try anyways because apparently I have no shame. And the Mester Stoorworm. Yep. So yeah, Really excited to dip into this and learn a little bit more about Scottish mythology. But the thing that excited me that I was most pumped to get book-wise, and I was so glad they have, and this is actually part of a 3-book series, and I want the other 2 books in this series so bad. So bad. I want them so bad. I want them so bad. I should ask Stevie. That's an excellent suggestion. Why haven't I done that already? I don't know. Lisa, not so smart sometimes. Okay, so this next one is the most stunning book of time, and it's massive, but it's gorgeous. And it is this one. It's the an illustrated. Oh, let's get in front of my face. An illustrated treasury of Scottish folk and fairy tales. There's a 3-book series. So the other 2 books, one is Scottish mythical creatures, and the third one is Scottish castle legends. And I want all 3 really, really badly now that I've seen the first one. This one I'm real excited about. So let's take a look at the name papers are boring in this one, but the middle is not boring. So it is full. Let's see. I'm going to have to stand up so that I can show this without blocking it. Full of gorgeous, gorgeous illustrations throughout. Look at this. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? And it's like this the whole way through. It's like if a children's book met an adult book. You know what I mean? Like it feels like it has these delightful illustrations all the way through it. Look at, it's gorgeous. So it says, slithering stoorworms, mischievous brownies, fierce kelpies, and magical selkies. This is a stunning, richly illustrated collection of classic Scottish tales, and both the author and the illustrator are Scottish. Yay! So I'm really, really excited about this book. I will definitely be reporting back. I cannot wait. This is the kind of book that I will want to like curl up with like a hot cup of tea or coffee and just devour. It just looks like such a delight to get into. And all 3 of the other books, like you can see them here teased on the bottom. These are the other 2 books in the series that I want to pick up. They're both sitting on my Amazon wish list. No guarantees that they will not be coming home very soon because I think having all 3 would be just really delightful. I mean, assuming that the content of the actual stories is as good as the way it looks like it's going to be. It does look like the kind of thing you could read to your children. So it's probably, I'm assuming it's kind of gentle-ish, kind of in its approach. We'll see. But I do have the other one, and it looks like there might be some crossover in some of the stories. Like this one mentions storeworm, and we know that there's a storeworm tale in here. So it'll be kind of interesting to kind of cross-reference. But for size comparison, you can see like this one in the back is big. So really, really excited about that one. Of the books, I would say that Scottish one is the one I was the most excited for. Okay, I'm gonna have a breath and a coffee, and then we're gonna get into decks here in just a second. Was there a question about decks? Yeah, I'm starting decks soon. Have I read the Library of the Dead? No, I haven't. Is that, what kind of book is that? Let me just Google it. I'm honestly trying not to buy books, but oh, is this a series? Oh no, is this a YA series? Oh no, is this YA? If it's YA, it's all over. Is it adult? Yes, it was totally a distracted moment. Genre, it looks like it's adult. Young adult. Okay, 129 people voted it young adult, and 70 people voted it adult. Does anybody know? Okay, the reason I'm asking is because I find YA usually a smoother read for me with fiction. I can chew through them quicker. Trying not to buy books is a hopeless task. I know. I don't know why. But I've actually done a very good job of plowing through my TBR list, which is amazing. I don't know if it's actually YA or not. I'm just guessing. I don't know. Okay, let's get into decks. We're going to start off with the one that I'm pretty sure is not staying with me because it was an impulse buy. It was a very, very impulsive impulse buy. I should have known better. Banyen used to have, and this is likely a COVID change, but they used to have sample decks of all of their decks. You could flip through the cards before purchasing. They had a few decks that had samples, but most of them don't anymore. This was one that I was like, I think I remember liking it kind of, but might as well because I've got a credit kind of thing. And that was probably a bad decision. Is there sex in it? If so, it is adult. I mean, that's a good way to come at it, Corey. It's probably true. I have no idea. But anyways, the one I'm kind of disappointed by, I think, is the Empathic Oracle. I would love to hear some thoughts from you guys. I was kind of attracted to the idea of this deck, I think, more than the deck itself. It did come with a damaged card, which is kind of annoying, but that's not a big deal. This is the card that came damaged. It looks like it got caught up in a machine or something. It's like, you see that like kind of dent on the side there, and then on the back, it's like it got chewed up by something. I mean, whatever. I don't care that much. And the second card kind of has a bit of it too. And I wonder if the machine that banded the cards got kind of chewed it up a little. Anyway, so here's my issue. This deck does all the things that I don't like Oracle decks to do. Okay, Shannon, I really want to hear more from you about it then. Please, 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 please. Because I'm like, my initial impressions are that the artwork is cute, but I'm not a fan of the fact that all it does is title the cards. So we have all the chakras, which is cool. And then after the chakras, we have the elements, which is, that's fine. Cool, cool. There's no keywords. I'm like, there's no keywords though. This says manifestation. And then there's stuff like shielding, focus, clearing. I don't know. Phases. I don't. And I kind of looked at the guidebook a little bit and I'm like, it looks a little crayony, doesn't it? It might be. I don't know. I kind of like the kind of folky style. And I saw this and I totally thought it was boobs. It's not. It's faces. It says crowd surfing, but that totally, see if I can get my face behind it so that it'll focus on the card. It looked like boobs to me. It's totally faces. It's faces. But yeah, meh. Trio of Witches. That is exactly how I felt about this. I was like, I mean, it's cool. There's a gaslighting card in here. I thought that was kind of cool. Stuck. I don't know. This feels like the kind of thing I'm never going to reach for. So I feel like this is going to go right into my purgatory, probably. I'll give it some more thought, but this one I am not. I was like, I shouldn't have bought it sight unseen like that. It'd been a long time since I'd seen it. I feel like I saw a walkthrough from Kelly at the Truth and Story about this one a long time ago, and I feel like I thought she kind of liked it, but I could not remember that there were no keywords on the cards. And there was no, it's like one of those boxes where there's no images of the cards on the box anywhere. So I just was flying completely blind. Pinky Little Mama says, are you planning on buying the Book of the Dead Oracle by Scylla Conway? I don't know. That deck gives me legit goosebumps. I think it's an incredible deck. My problem is I don't know how I'd use it. And I do have the Cosmovisions Oracle by James R. Eads already, which kind of covers the same sort of topic, which is like sort of what happens to the soul after we die kind of thing. And I don't know, I haven't found a reason to really reach for this one either. But I feel like if I want to reach for something for that part of the life experience, the soul experience, I feel like I have a deck that I can do that with already. But Scylla's deck is outstanding. It's incredible. I've watched like 3 walkthroughs and it looks amazing. It really does. But I'm just like, how would I use it though? Because it's all about, I don't know. It's like, how would I use it? I don't know. I'm at a loss. But Cosmovisions is gorgeous, and I feel like I'd rather make the time to get to know it better and to like work with it more before I decide. But guys, the jury's technically out, but I'm not even the least bit excited to pull it out and even try to get to know it yet. So maybe Shannon can change my mind. We'll see, but I'll pick her brain about it and see if maybe. Okay, the next one I found out after I bought it. I technically kind of had it before, so there's a bit of a story here. So this one is the Self-Care Wisdom Cards by Cheryl Richardson. So I saw this. I talked about it in my hot takes. Pretty sure. I used to have, so this is actually a redo of, and I don't know how similar it is because I don't have it anymore, but I used to have Cheryl's self-care. I think they were just called the self-care cards. They had a very like 90s Oracle vibe. They had like a photorealistic piece of artwork, keywords down at the bottom, and a title at the top, big ass borders. You know what I mean? It was one of those kind of decks. And I had that one and I rehomed it. And then this one really spoke to me. So I ended up purchasing this one while I was at Banyen. And I think this is super cute, actually. I wasn't going to, but then I saw it in person and there actually was a sample deck so I could flip through the cards. And I was like, I really like this. I do a self-care reading for clients. And this one just feels like it hits self-care in the less physical ways. And the keywords on here around self-care are very spacious and very expansive. They give me lots of room for my intuition to go. And I like that a lot. And this is one of those decks that has, so here's the needs card, right? There is a little message on the back. Do you need more time to yourself, a break from thinking too much, a kind encounter with a friend? Your needs matter and it's time to honor them. I like the messages in the back. I think they're really, again, really still really expansive, very open. What if being kind to yourself really could change everything? And this is the kindness self-care card. This would look incredible. This would look incredible next to the Good Karma Tarot. Hold on. Good idea, Santiago. Let's just see how this looks as a pairing. That's exciting. It would be really good. Look at this, you guys. Oh my God. Okay. Despite the fact that Good Karma is glossy and this one is matte, can we just appreciate these two together? What a great suggestion. Thank you. Look at how well these look like they were made by the same artist almost. Look at this. But I really like it. Here's rituals, right? And it says, steady yourself with simple rituals. Do the dishes, fold laundry, water the plants, make a cup of tea, let wisdom sneak up on you. It's not just actions. This is probably the most action-oriented card they have. Like here's one that's called Shine. Like, look at this. Look at these together. And the Shine one says, don't dim your light. The world needs your unique talents and gifts. Shine brightly. So I feel like this slides into the sweet spot between such a good card. It totally hits the sweet spot between the more physical self-care cards, which I used to have the Sacred Self-Care deck, and I rehomed that one because it was too physical. So it kind of slides into the space between the physical and the emotional, because for emotional, I'm going to have, I have a prototype deck right now, but for emotional self-care, I have the I'm Here deck, which this was a Kickstarter. I'm waiting on the final version to come via Kickstarter, but this is the more emotional, more gentle, healing sort of side of self-care, whereas I feel like this one is more physical. So I'm hoping to be able to use these together in some situations. So we shall see. But I'm real excited about these Cheryl Richardson cards. I think they're really, really well done. Santiago just made my whole damn day with that pairing suggestion. Real excited about that. Because, yeah, it looks perfect next to Good Karma. And this is one of my workhorse decks. I love this deck. It's amazing. They are, yeah, they're sisters. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I can't wait for this one. Yeah, exactly. The ghosties are so cute. I know. Okay, so Cheryl Richardson, and this was a really inexpensive deck. This is a Hay House, and I have to say, this doesn't feel, I'm about to be a jerk right now. This doesn't feel as crappy as the other Hay House cardstock decks I've touched. I mean, like, it's still not, it may actually have, this one might actually be cord. I don't know. But their cardstock, most of their decks lately have been coming out in this really crummy cardstock, and maybe they've fixed that. This feels decent, so that's good. That was a risk. I hadn't even noticed it was Hay House when I bought it, or I probably wouldn't have, because I've been so annoyed with their cardstock. But yeah, really happy about this. Cannot wait to start using that in my practice. The next one, okay, this is one of those ones that I don't know if I'll be able to explain why I like it, because there's a lot of things about it that I don't like, but it feels like it's going to be useful, which is, I'm always struggling, and I do need to make my own, and I have plans. I have plans in my brain. I'm not there yet. I have other things I need to do first, but this is a chakra-based oracle deck, kind of, I guess you could call it that. This is by Feinhorn Press, and this is the chakra cards for belief change. So this was another impulse. It was inexpensive. I like this because, and this is going to sound so superficial, but I like this because there are 7 cards for each chakra plus a chakra card. So like, here's what the chakra card looks like. So you have the root chakra, which is Muladhara, and then it has some little words on the back about the root chakra, which is great. So this is just like an information card about the root chakra. Hello? My camera went all grainy and weird. And then there are 7 additional root chakra cards. Now, the thing I don't like, the thing that's really annoying and boring, is that these cards all have the exact same image on them, but they have a different keyword. So we have camera, do your job, thank you. So we have grounding, natural world, capability, stability, abundance, physical body, and safety. And the thing is, these all resonated with me and how I see the root chakra. And this has been the big challenge for me, finding a chakra deck. And then there are some like little affirmations, that's the word I was looking for, on the back for each one of these keywords. So given how I work with chakras for card readings, I feel like these cards kind of work for that. So you get one of these and 7 of these for each of the 7 chakras. So given the way that I work with chakra decks right now, this is not much less minimalist than the deck I currently use mostly, which is the Animantras deck. So I currently use the Animantras, or I'll be using this one, or I use the Color Mage Oracle. And when you see what I'm comparing to, you might understand why I'm not as worried about it. So this is my Color Mage Oracle, which I have edged for the chakras. And these are just basically like paint swatches with colors and keywords. So I don't need really in-depth artwork for a chakra deck. The Animantras has a little cute drawing of an animal on each one. It's pretty simple. But the thing is with a chakra deck, what's important to me are the keywords. That's the most important piece. So I'm considering this as something that is a tool that is useful. It's not as exciting, but it's kind of like if you need to buy some nails, you buy some nails because you need to hang something up, right? So this is called, sorry, which one are you asking about, Aspasia? Is this one? So these are called the Chakra Cards for Belief Change. I know, Trio of Witches. That's exactly what Dustin says about this deck too. I know. The thing is, it seems so basic, you guys. I will defend this deck. It was hideously expensive. I don't necessarily think it was worth the price. It is to me, which I think this is the thing. If it is to you, then it's worth it, right? The thing about this is it's incredibly well thought out. The energies associated with each chakra are incredibly well thought out. I have tons of things I could pick apart about this deck, but it's highly usable. Again, it's not exciting, but if I need to hang a picture, I'm going to go buy some nails. If I need to build a house, I'm going to buy some plywood. It's not exciting, but like the bones are there. And I still need to, again, this is an area where I'm so ridiculously picky that finding keywords that align is already a big success. So I think the thing is that I'm someday going to make my own chakra based deck because I work with them so much and I have so many opinions, but it's something that I have to do later, but it's on my to-do list for sure. Yeah, Santiago. Yes. Totally agree. It was really well thought out. Like I said, I do think there was a bit of an overcharge situation. I feel like it was a lot. It was kind of expensive for what it was, but it is very well thought out. I value it. I feel like it was worth the money. That's kind of where I land on it, but I can totally get other people not feeling the same way. That's my main point. I've missed so many comments. Animantras is delightful and highly usable in my opinion. It's so far still probably my favorite and the one I lean into the most for my client readings. Yeah, I thought about that, Clay. I thought about I'm considering the idea of adding some of my own imagery, but I feel like by the time I do that, I could have just made my own deck, and that's kind of where I'm probably going to land with it, to be honest. Although my own deck will probably still be somewhat simple. So, I mean, I don't need a lot in a chakra deck. I think that's because I'm reading into the energy of the chakra more than I need lots and lots of visual cues, but I feel like it'd be funner to have more visual cues. Okay. Are we ready for the next deck? Are we ready? The Rainbow Kipper. I always knew I would buy this eventually. This has been on my list. Heidi, I'm definitely going to. It's on my list, but I have a course I'm trying to get out first. Okay, so anyways, Rainbow Kipper. I have anti-hauled this because I'm like, I don't have time to learn another system. But this is one of those things that would be a regret if by the time I was ready to play with Kipper, I didn't get this specific deck. This is the one I wanted. When I found out that Tony Poole, who's take on Kipper, I genuinely respect quite a bit. She's very knowledgeable about Kipper. I love watching her content about Kipper. And her teaming up with Stephen Bright, who I've been dying to buy one of his products, like one of his decks or books for a long time. Those two teaming up to me is like the best thing ever. So Stephen Bright, Tony Poole. So Stephen Bright, you might know him. He created the Spirit Within Tarot, as well as other projects. He has a book called The Oracle, coming out with Liminal 11, called The Oracle Deck Creator or something like that, a book about creating your own decks. He also has another book. I forget the name of it. I can picture the cover. It's yellow, has a star on it, and then he wrote about tarot. But Stephen's very knowledgeable. These two partnering up, amazing. And this is the Rainbow Kipper, and the deck itself is kind of reminds me art style wise of Stephen's Spirit Within Tarot. But you have color coding. Hello, focus on the deck, not me. Thank you. These are gilded in like silver. But you have color coding. So you have your people cards, main character, all these different ones you can grab, which is great. And then you have the classic Kipper cards, but they are color coded, I think, so that you know which ones are like good cards and which ones are stop cards. I don't know. I don't know anything about Kipper, y'all. So I'm talking out my butt right now. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I know I've watched a bunch of I watched at least one of their live streams talking about this deck. This is a divinatory deck, much like Lenormand is a divinatory deck, but I believe Kipper is a German system. I think. I mean, again, talking out my butt here. Like, this is military person. Like, I don't know what that means. I don't know, but I know that these colors are purposeful. So like if you have a red card, it's for a reason, right? If you have a yellow card, it's for a reason, a green card for a reason. So I'm super excited to learn more about it. I don't know when. This is one of those things that I got to play with when the time is right. It's not something that I feel like I need to go out and do right now, but it's timely because actually Tony she's the card geek. And she has just done 2 live streams recently. I have them in my watch later list right now. One is about how to read Lenormand effectively, and one is about reading Kipper. So I'm looking forward to watching both of those videos just because I like what she has to say about stuff. And we'll see. We'll see if I'm driven to learn about this right away. Yes. Yeah, Diana, the World Divination Association, which Tony Poole founded, I believe. So yeah, really excited about that. So yeah, got that one. Okay. These next 2 have we're just going to talk about it for like a minute. Just be prepared to be here for a few minutes because I have so much to say. So this next thing, I was like, you know what? If they haven't, I'm probably going to pick it up. I'm just going to satiate my curiosity because I'm so curious. This was an experience for me that was much like how I said, I'm never going to buy the Deviant Moon. The Deviant Moon is creepy AF. I don't like it. It freaks me out. I'm going to have nightmares. It's awful. Hate it. It was so vocal. Do not like. And y'all know I've had to eat my words about that one again and again and again and again and again and again and again, because once I had it in my hand, I was like, this is amazing. This deck is amazing. I love it so much. So this next deck is like that. So before I show you this deck or start talking about all of my feelings about this deck, do you have any guesses? And if you already know, no cheatsies, because a couple of my friends know because I did private glide when I got home from the metaphysical store. Nope, not Somnia. I'll let you guys, I'll give you guys a minute to guess what deck this could be. OMG, says Nerdy Snail. Snaily, Nerdy Snaily. So fun. I get to drink more coffee while you guys guess. I have Triumphi already. Definitely not Hayworth. Oh my God. I shouldn't have said it like that. You never know. You never know. The one with the animal heads on people bodies. Stay tuned, but no. Yep. Same thing happened to me. Thanks to Lisa. Yep. Curious Creatures. Y'all are so funny. Triumphi Della Luna Illustrated. Ordered. It's on its way to me. Not this one, though. I have the original Triumphi and the new illustrated version is on its way. I have no more guesses, says Santiago. Last chance. Polka, says Barb. I'm counting down. There's a delay, so I'm going to go 10, 9, 8. No pressure. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Nicoletta Chicoli. Okay, so you guys, I cannot even begin to describe to you how far down the rabbit hole I have gone with this deck. We're about to talk about it. This never tempted me. I don't think it ever tempted me. I was always curious about it, but every time I saw flip throughs or saw people talking about it, they're like, the art doesn't line up with the meanings. It's creepy. Now, I will for sure say that there is, thanks, Gina. I will for sure say that this is the kind of imagery that I feel like is going to either draw you in or repulse you. Because this is so creepy. Elizabeth, oh my God, Dustin will love it. More creepy kids. He hates this deck. He hates creepy dolls, creepy kids. No. And this deck weirdly does not feel creepy to me. It feels empowering to me. And I wonder, I'm really curious because I am not an art snob or art snob's the wrong word. I'm not an art geek. I'm not somebody who knows art, gets art, is particularly like, I mean, I love art in decks. It's so hard to describe. I can't say I don't appreciate art because I definitely do. But like, I'm not knowledgeable about art. I'm not one of those people that understands when people are like, I just want to go to the art gallery and look for hours and hours and hours. It's like it has to be a specific artist and art that I'm specifically drawn to for me to think that would be a good time. You know what I mean? So here's the thing about this deck. Okay, if you have a phobia of dolls, you're probably gonna want to step off because I'm gonna be talking about this for a little bit. And I'm gonna be showing images. So if this freaks you out, they don't look like dolls to me either, though. But I mean, I can totally get why they look like that to some people. Okay, I can see the meaning in every single one of these cards. And where I even stumble a little bit, this little freaking guidebook is incredible. It's written by, and I did not know this, but this is written by Linnea Weatherstone. And of course, the language has to be picked carefully because low Scarabeo decks, which this is, low Scarabeo decks are in multiple languages, right? So the guidebook is going to have, I think it has French, English, Spanish. I don't know what other languages are in here. Yeah, there's Spanish for sure. Yeah, Italian probably. So the language has to be clear so that it can be translatable across multiple languages. So it's not lengthy. But when I first pulled this out, I was like, oh no, this isn't going to work, right? I don't know. And then I looked at this card. Was this you? Was this you that got me thinking about this one, Tammy Pie? So I looked at this one, and here's what Linnea says. She says about the Fool, march to the beat of your own drum. No one can guide you better than your own heart. Key concepts, individuality, beginnings, and soul progress. And I was like, that makes so much sense. Look at this magician with the mask. Especially with the mask being like a wildcat. It's like there's something feral and like wild about it. And it says, all the power you need is within you. Seize your own magic and use your will to make changes in your world. And the key concepts are intention, willpower, and transformation. This completely makes sense to me. And as I started going through the artwork, and I'm not going to go through every single card, I started to see something really interesting in this deck. And it is empowerment. I started to see there's decks that I go to kind of heal and kind of coddle and comfort the inner child. This deck feels like it takes the idea of powerlessness as a child and flips it on its head. And it gives, I don't see these as children. It's really hard to describe. I see this as an energy, which again, I can totally see why people could see that. But this feels to me like I see you and I'm going to give you all of your power back. This deck feels like ferocity, like wildness, like power, and power shifts in a really, really cool way. And I normally cannot stand a strength card. I forget the name of this painting. There's a really excellent video, which I've watched like twice now, by Veronica Jude, which is all about the Chicoli Tarot. And she goes into the art books. I mean, I've been wanting to buy the art books. You guys, you don't know how this artwork has been affecting me. It has been affecting me so strongly. But here's a very empowered strength card, or rather a strength card where she's defeating the animal, which is very not the way I usually view strength. But in this deck, it works for me and it makes so much sense. There's a lot here. Okay, so here's another one. So here's the Hanged Man, right? And it's like, okay, well, what is that? Okay, yeah, they're dangling, but what? But Linnea ties it together. And it says, suspend your disbelief and surrender to a new way of looking at things. Expand the limit of your consciousness, which to me speaks to the two heads. And then it says a different point of view and an open mind. So she made it work. She made it work. And this is a curated art deck, which is usually another deal breaker. But there is something here about empowering, reclaiming, reclamation of power is the best way I know how to put it with this deck. And this artwork feels incredibly powerful and evocative. I don't think this is a deck I would just whip out for other people or for clients, but this is it's really, really excited me. This Four of Cups really speaks to me, this idea of being safe in your bubble and recognizing that you don't have to necessarily take your shields down, but be aware that there might be more you're missing. There's so much I feel like I can intuitively read into this artwork. Love this Seven of Cups. Elsa, oh my God, so funny. This is just, it's really, really moved me in a really powerful way. So I had such an experience with this deck. I came home from Banyen. I started looking through the cards. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I freaking look at this. I love this. And I love this because of what I see in this image, right? This is the King of the King of Discs, King of Pentacles. And I love this idea of like the power and the strength and the empowerment. I mean, look at the Two of Wands and the self-love and the recognition that you're deserving of, oh God, I just can't. I did not expect this reaction. There's a lot here. And then, because I was so blown away, I immediately like, and it there's so much feeling in the artwork and so much happening. It's just, I know you guys are probably like roasting the crap out of this in the comments, aren't you? Oh, I totally understand. That this is not for everybody, but I am really, 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 really excited about it. Tempted a little bit tarot card. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to use it exactly as it is, and just really, really get to know it, because so far I've already gone through all the cards like twice, privately. Once I really, really feel like I know it really well, I will probably do a deep dive because I'm really excited about it. But then, because I was so excited about this, and I'm sorry to anybody who left thinking I was going to be done talking about this, I immediately scooped up the Oracle deck. And I have thoughts on this too, having just gotten it and already gone through all of the cards, again, multiple times, and with the guidebook. So just like the little white book in the tarot, this is also written by Linnea Weatherstone, who, again, I think I did just an incredible job. And in this one, just like in the other Lo Scarabeo books, you do have multiple languages. So you really only get to here. So this part of the book is English, and then this is the rest, right? So everybody gets the same amount. Now, this one I thought would be more challenging, but I'm so captivated by the artwork. You guys, I'm not kidding. I would buy a print right now if they weren't so expensive. There's a print. There's an image she has out in a print right now called Just One Kiss. And it shows a sort of melting, kind of princessly icing made up girl who's kind of melting in the front as a lit match is kind of leaning over to kiss her hand. And there's so much there to me that speaks to trauma and like being drawn into something that's not good for you, and like what that feels like and the temptation. And it's so good. Anyways, I'm really, really excited. And I was Googling, I was like, is there postcard set? Is there, like, I might just have to get an art book. I don't know. But the prints are really expensive. They're like a couple $100. And I'm like, or no, a couple hundred like pounds sterling, I think. So like really expensive. But I really want that Just One Kiss one. I'm like, oh my God, I've never geeked out about a specific artist the way that I am right now. So I picked up the Oracle deck. Now the backs are really beautiful. And the fronts do not have any keywords. They just have a number and the art. So I've already gone through, because I'm just so excited about this artwork, I've already gone through and read the guidebook entry for every single card and distilled down what I've gotten from the guidebook and what I've gotten from the art onto my own set of keywords. Usually one upright kind of feeling keyword, one positive, more encouraging keyword, and one more shadowy keyword. So here's what I've come up with based on the guidebook. I'm just going to walk you through what I see in these cards really quick, because I just can't not, and I'm here and I want to. This is what we're doing. So in this card here, I put respite. Oops, hold on. Let me hold the card up. Respite and denial. So she's hugging these flowers around her ears. And to me, this is exactly the same as like, la, 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 everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. That's what this card feels like to me, which sometimes that's good. Sometimes you need to take a break, and sometimes you're denying yourself, right? You're denying the truth of your reality. You're not looking at it. And I'm thinking that if I like these keywords, I'm going to add them with Sharpie probably on there, because I really want the keywords on here. This one here, all these like little bugs are buzzing around her. Or are they birds? They're birds. All these little birds are buzzing around her. She's like a topiary kind of flower tree thing. And I used the keywords synchronicities, because in the book it talks about all these, like something's trying to get your attention, right? So I wrote synchronicities. And then for a more shadowy keyword, I wrote distractions based on what I saw read in the book. In this one, I wrote passivity. So all these like knights are fighting on this chessboard, but she's part of the chessboard. So I wrote passivity and also powerlessness. Like, is she giving over her power to others to fight her battles for her? Or is she just being passive and stepping out because it's not for her? This one, I'm just going to keep the stickies on there now so I can just show you what I've done. This one is detached or vigilant. And you can kind of see my scrawling as I've tried to settle on what it is I'm going to use for each one. And this is, again, based on what I read in the guidebook as well as what I got from the artwork. In this one, I wrote careless or malicious, because in the guidebook, it talks about gossip. And I think there's accidental harm, careless harm, and then there's outright malicious harm. And that's what this speaks of to me. This one is all about, to me, clinging, like holding on to security, like being safe or your comfort zone. So I used comfort zone here. This one is grief and also irreparable. This really speaks to the idea. Have you ever heard the analogy, like when you screw up, when you drop a plate, it's broken. You can say you're sorry, but the plate is still broken. That's the irreparable I see in this with the Humpty Dumpty in her lap. He's already broken. You can't fix it. But there's also a thing here to speak to grief and loss. So I wanted to look at the shadow. I feel like this is going to be a great shadow deck. This one I have autopilot or unmotivated as my keywords. This one I have relax and also escape. I have so many feels about this card with this girl on the swing. So meaningful to me in my own childhood. Advice or wake up call. And again, I just distilled down stuff from the guidebook. This one is about flexibility. And then the other keyword I have is loosen up. They're kind of the same. I might just keep, I don't know. We'll see. This one is, I put the unexpected, and as a shadowy one, I put judgment. Like that's not what you expected to find in there, but good stuff. This one, solitude or avoidance. Hello, there we go. So I am going to be adding, I believe, the keywords to the cards. I just want to sit with these ones that I put on here. This one is a little weird. Just brace yourselves. But I put generosity and overextended for this one. So she's like nurturing another beast, another creature. This one is, I put plant new seeds or bloom where you're planted, depending on what I'm feeling intuitively. Adventure or impulsivity here. I'm just loving this. This one is about listen and learn. Listen and learn. This one I put agency and hubris. So hubris, if you're the dude running away, agency for her, being in her power and protecting herself and her boundaries. Organization and micromanagement is what I put here. And it makes more sense when you go through the guidebook too. But here I have consequence and guilt creeping up on you. Past behavior coming back to haunt you. This one I put closeness and codependence. And a lot of these words came straight out of the guidebook, but just the ones that stood out to me is the ones that are most meaningful. So I've only got a few more, so I'm just going to do them. This one I put enough or lack mentality. Resonance or interference. Sorry, nope, rescue. I can't read my writing. Rescue or interference. Yeah, I'm only using Post-its temporarily, so I can sit with it, but I'll show you what it does to the deck. It's not good. You don't want to keep the Post-its on there. This one is strategy or caution. This one is intuition and disquiet. Come on, block my face. Full speed ahead or overcorrection. Compassion and victim. Intimidation or inner strength for this one. This one is curiosity and boundaries. Trigger warning for this one. So if you're not sure, if this is already freaking you out, don't look at this one. This one has really, I think, is a useful image for me to work with, but it's not one that I think should be thrown about lightly. So again, look away if you're even remotely concerned about any of the imagery you've seen so far. This one I have curiosity and boundaries. And then I have be gracious, win or lose. Be gracious, win or lose. I'm covering up some of the art with the Post-its. This one is tough love or toxic. Hello, she's playing nurse to her little bunny, but the bunny is like sad. And this one I have faith and despair. So you can tell that I definitely get a more shadowy feel from this, but you can see this is what Post-it tape does. Look at the difference between the top of the deck and the bottom. Oh, that also is a thing that happens. Yep, that happened. Well, they were in order. But anyways, I'm going to play with these. Just kind of go through the artwork a few more times, make sure, and the guidebook, and make sure I'm happy with these keywords. And if, as long as I am, I'm going to be adding the keywords to the cards. But just my warning with that is that whenever you add tape, no matter how thin it feels to put on there, it definitely bulks up the deck. I did this exercise or something very much like this when I was working with the Joie de Vivre. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be taking these Post-its off as long as I'm comfortable with the words I've picked. I'm probably going to refine it. I've already refined it 2 or 3 times, but I'm probably going to go through it a couple more times, make sure I'm really happy with these words. And as long as I'm happy with the words, I'm going to write on the cards, probably with silver Sharpie. this is not an easy deck, but to me, it makes me feel incredibly seen, and it makes me feel like I can get into places with my cards that I don't normally get to go. And there's a lot here to me about, reclamation of power is what this feels. I won't be shuffling it with the Post-its. The Post-its will make shuffling impossible. I've done this before. So I did a similar thing with the, that's it for decks, by the way. If anybody wants to bail, because you're like, I've seen enough, I'm good. I have no more new stuff to show. But the thing with the Post-its, I did it with Joie de Vivre, so I could write the character names, and I used the thinnest Post-it tape I could find. And I wrote the names of the characters, and I even moved the tape to different spots on the cards. It made the deck super thick. And when you try to shuffle, it catches on the tape. So you can't keep it on there. My purpose of having the tape on there right now is so that I can literally just sit and look at the artwork and look at the words and reread the entry in the guidebook and just make sure that I feel like I've pulled or distilled the message that I think is going to be the most helpful to me personally in working with this deck. But this is definitely a pair of decks that I don't think I could see myself using for anybody else ever. This feels very much like a personal work kind of deck. I definitely think there's images in both decks that could be incredibly triggering to some people. That could be way too much. Whereas I have pulled Deviant Moon Tarot for clients on very rare occasions. I think like twice ever. And it's been great in those instances where it was really calling to me to use it. This is something that I feel like, unless you're very, very well aware of what somebody else's stuff is, that would be a problem. Highlighter tape, less damaging. I mean, maybe. I've never used highlighter tape. I feel like my experience, let me show you a silver Sharpie deck I've done before so you know what it looks like. Where's my Marielle? Where's my Marielle? Hello, Marielle. Where are you? Oh, here she is. She's right here. Okay. So my Marielle, this is my first edition Marielle, and I cut these borders off by hand. So this is my rough cut trim. And I added the titles with silver Sharpie. And this is kind of what the end result looks like with my messy handwriting. The reason silver Sharpie I feel like is nice is because it stays in place. I do know how to take it off if I mess up and need to redo. And I feel like it looks okay and is readable as long as you shift it in the light a bit. I feel like you can see it on light background cards like this one. I can like shift it in the light, get the reflect on it, and I can see the word magician. Or on dark background cards like this, where it shows up right away. So I feel like the silver Sharpie works really well. So that's where I'm leaning into. Metallic gel pens, my concern with that is smearing. Every time I've tried to use gel on anything, it's smeared real bad, particularly on gloss. So yeah. Point is, yeah, that I'd want something that isn't going to smear. So I'm probably gonna lean into metallic gel. I might go gold, actually. I don't know if silver or gold would go better. Any opinions on this? I feel like silver would be better. But, there is, yeah, silver feels like it would match the color schemes better, but it also, most of these backgrounds are going to be lighter. Yeah, that's what I'm leaning to right now. Yeah. But, they just take a long time to dry. Is that right? So you've done it, and then once it's sat, it does eventually dry. I might have to test that. Is there an art card in here I can test on? I don't think there is in this deck. No, there's not an extra card in the Oracle that I could test on. And the Oracle is glossy. It's different than the Tarot is like regular standard stock. So it's not glossy, but it's not, I guess it's pretty matte, but it's like a standard. So it's going to have a satiny sheen on it, but it's not glossy like the other one is. I haven't even shuffled this yet, and I'm not going to do a walkthrough before I work with this one because I really want to get to know it. This is one that my bonding process is going to be different. Yeah, I think the silver would be better. Yeah. It is permanent. I will say these Los Scarabeo decks shuffle really nicely. This one is a little thinner, like narrower than a standard tarot. I'm just curious what it looks like if I just put a few cards on the table because I've gone through the cards like in order like 3 or 4 times now. But I'm just curious. And I would work with one Oracle card probably, and then pull a couple tarot on either side. My usual conversation style spread. Yeah. 7 of Wands, Queen of Cups. Oh, that's a King of Cups and the Hierophant. The only issue is with these Los Scarabeo like this. At first glance, it's like you got this symbol down here to tell you if it's a king, queen, or page or whatever. And the kings and the queens, because of course they're all these girls. The king and the queen both have crowns, but the queen's crown is more flared. See if I can find one so you can see what I mean. Yeah, okay, so here's a queen. Here's the Queen of Swords in the Chicoli Tarot. There's her symbol. There's her crown. And that is the king's crown. So that's a king of cups. Yeah. Yeah, I am really looking forward to playing with these and getting to know them. They're not, believe it or not, next on my list to play with. As excited as I am, and I'm probably going to work on the mod for the Oracle deck in the meantime. But as excited as I am to work with these, I have another deck coming up that I want to work with more in depth before I go down this rabbit hole, because I really feel like once I go down with this deck, I'm going to be using it for a little bit. Yeah, I think they could work really well with Reclaim. Right now, I like the idea of working with these two together and then seeing where I end up. But again, these are decks that I thought I would never want and never get. So I'm really excited to experiment and see where I end up. But yeah, those are all the goodies that I got from Banyen Books. If you want to refresh, there'll be links to all the decks and books I talked about. If you want to check any of them out or add them to your cart, you can definitely do that. So it is in the description box down below, as well as a link to Banyen Books, which is where I went. Banyen Books and Sound is what it's called. I've never tried a Bic Metallic. Yeah, Elizabeth, I totally get it. I think if I'd have gotten these decks up close and personal, even like 5 or 6 years ago, it probably would have been too soon with me. My Lilifer is currently pending. There is somebody that may be scooping it up. I'm not keeping it. It just it completely didn't land. You can hear me talk more about that in my last anti-haul where I talked about it a bit. I had no desire, none, zero. It landed like the way that this, it landed for me the way that this Empathic one did, like just completely flat. It was so devastating. I was like, no, thanks, Catherine. Nothing to do with decks, but I had to say thank you. You guys are so sweet. I'm still deciding if I'm probably going to let it grow out a bit and then decide if I want to have it this short going forward or keep it a little smidge longer. But I do like all the fluff, all the fluffiness. But anyways, I'm going to go have some dinner because it's that time here. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I wanted to love the Lilifer so bad. Anyways, thanks you guys for hanging out with me. This was super fun. If you want to know what is coming up next, I did just post on my community tab today, I think, this morning. I posted all the fun things that are coming up for May. Lots of fun things are planned, including a live stream this coming Sunday where me and my Thoth Tarot study buddies are going to be getting together to talk about our experiences playing with, studying, working with the Thoth Tarot recently. And its many iterations and our takeaways. And we're just going to have a casual chit chat live here. It's going to be me, Dawn Michelle, Marlene Gerard, who is here. I probably slaughtered her last name, or was here. So Marlene and me, Danny Mystic, and Dawn Michelle Boho Tarot, we're all going to be here on Sunday chatting about the Thoth Tarot. So we will be live Sunday morning Pacific time. And we'll be talking about all of that good stuff. If you are in the Unicorn fam, we have book club wrap up on Saturday. So we will be announcing our next book club pick for the Unicorn fam members. And we will be wrapping up our April and May book club picks. So that'll be happening Saturday morning. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else in the next couple of days. I think that's about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. Times. They're listed on my community tab. But the Thoth Tarot study group starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And the Unicorn Fam Book Club live wrap-up is at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday. So 10:30 a.m. Saturday if you're in the Unicorn Fam coming to book club. Sunday is 11 a.m. with Dawn, Michelle, Danny, Marlena, and me. And that's it. So those are the live streams coming up. Lots of other Lots of other fun stuff planned for May. Lots and lots of goodies. So keep an eye out. And if you want the full breakdown of some of the things, I don't list everything, but I list all the live streams that are planned currently. Go check that out. That's on the community tab. And thank you so much for hanging out with me on a Wednesday night. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for letting me show you all my goodies. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this stuff. Let me know if you bought anything. If you're watching this back later, comment down below. What was your favorite thing or most surprising thing from what I showed? What kind of stuff has tempted you? What kind of stuff are you like, no? Tell me your thoughts down below. And thank you guys so much. And may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.